Right. So I'm working at the Medical Product Agency, Läkemedelsverket, which is the regulatory agency for medicinal products, sort of medicines. And I'm here to try to explain to you how we can help you as a small company. Also big companies, but they usually know about what we can do for them. Jag går inte alls bra. Där har vi nere. So, most of you have heard about the severe problems for small companies. You work there in the desert, you don't have any money, you probably also lack competence in some areas, and you don't know where to turn to. You hear that you need a business strategy, patent strategy, and we think also that you need awareness, that you also need a regulatory strategy. And because you always have to deal with the regulations regarding drugs, medicines, you can't avoid it. So you need to be aware of them. And I think Magnus was a little bit into this when he said that when you are developing your product in different clinical phases, you need to know what regulations to be aware of and how you should eventually get approval. So this is what it's all about. And so it's all about doing the right thing in the right time, and also to reduce the time to approval. Because you have everything in place, it will be much easier for you, and for us, it will take shorter time for us. We don't have to answer so many questions. So that's a win-win situation. So we realized that really small companies need to come to us. So we're trying to open up the doors to the agency a little bit more. So you can come to us. But why should you come to us? Why are we a good place to go and ask questions? And one of the reasons is that we actually cover the entire life cycle of a drug, of a medicine. When it starts with the innovation, we can guide you. We also, for the different phases in the clinical trials, you always have to come to one agency. At least if you're working here in Sweden with clinical trials, you need to ask us for permission. And later on, when you produce a product, either when you're doing a clinical trial or later on when you have a product on the market, we go out and inspect your factories. We also grant, when you want to do changes in your product, maybe you need to have different types of products, different dosing, you change labels and so on. And we are involved in all those steps. So we know a lot about how to approve drugs and what's important in the approval of drugs. So what kind of innovation support? What is innovation support? To us it is, when you can help an innovation come and be in the hands or being used by a patient, that's sort of the innovation really for us. Because it's our goal that we have safe and efficient medicines for patients. So what we can do to help you in this process, we can have very early on, we can give you regulatory advice that is quite simple. Which procedure should I use? Where do I find these guidelines? Where can I turn to inside the agency? And also inside the European network of all the agencies. Scientific advice is something that we charge, because this is something more complicated. In the scientific advice, you come to us with your data and ask us whether we think this will be enough or not. You have a question, you have an idea about, for instance, a clinical trial, and this is how you want to perform it, and then you can ask our experts, what do we think about it? And we are really experts because we see all the approval, all the applications for new drugs. There are also a possibility to have a parallel advice with the national HTA, which is important, especially if you're in the later phases. Will the payer give you money for this in the end. It's always the hospital or eventually the patient or the state that gives you the money. So here you can get guidance in the health economics also. This is not used so much, but it is a possibility you shouldn't sort of miss. And also, you can always use the phone or the mail and ask questions directly to all the experts inside the house. And also, a lot of experts are also out there giving lectures about specific areas in the development of drugs. And I mentioned this, you have an access to an immense international regulatory network. We are a big agency in Europe. We are one of the 3 biggest. We have a lot of we are assessing so many applications. And we also are involved in writing new regulations, writing guidelines. So we are the real experts. So when you come to us, you will get a very good advice. And this is something that a lot of company has explored. They come to us every year, about 200 scientific advice every year. And most of them are companies outside Europe. We have American companies, we have companies from Europe, we have companies from outside US and Europe, of course, also. They come to us because we are big. So you have a big opportunity here as a Swede. You can get direct access to all these experts. Anyway, to help even further to get small companies daring to come to the agency, we said that we need to make this a little bit easier. So we created the Innovation Office about 1.5 years ago. In January 2013, we launched it. And the aim of the Innovation Office, which is part of the agency, that is to be a simple and clear contact point into the MPA. It should be easy to just phone us and ask silly questions. And also, we want to make it more visible what we actually do as an agency nationally. We are actually well known outside Sweden, but not so much inside Sweden. We also would like to increase the general regulatory knowledge in the society. What is regulations for, and what do I need to know about them? And also, we want to make it more obvious to you to come to us and ask for advice, and especially at small companies that may not be sort of a bit reluctant to turn to the agency. So to reach out into the country, into Sweden, we try to cover more places than just in Uppsala, where we live. So we have established a lot of collaborations with different academic research parks and incubators, like here in Gothenburg, for instance, and also with industry and trade organizations, and also together with other authorities, of course, like the HTA authority, TLV, and Vinnova. We also try to have much more sort of face-to-face meetings. We are normal people. We are not terrible to ask us questions. We try to have we have some newsletters. You can look into our web pages, and we give out some leaflets sometimes. And we also go out on tours, giving lectures and making ourselves known. And also, you can phone us directly, either through the switchboard, or you can phone me. It's mine. Or Anna, who sits here upstairs there. And any questions? The worst answer you can get from me is, I don't know, but I can guide you somewhere else. Or I can just give you, so you can look into that guideline or call that person. So that's what we are working for, making it easier for you. So this is our links to our homepage, and also there's a newsletter where we write in English about a little bit easier way what happens inside the European Medical Product Agency, the EMA. News and views. And also on the homepage what we are doing when we're out. And you can see all the presentations we've had. For instance, here in Gothenburg, you can have a look at that. and how to contact us. And last but not least, there is something we have created called the SME Guide. Unfortunately, it's only in English, but we are trying to make a way that you can guide yourself a little bit into the different phases that's necessary for your development. This is not clickable, but anyway, if you go inside for drugs for humans, you can see what's required for different phases, and then you can get more and more access to direct to the guidelines or to some text that explains things. We're trying to improve it. We will make it in English, but it costs money, so it will come. So that's what I like to say to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susanne. I think it's very nice, and I think sometimes we are a little bit ashamed about. I think we should be proud of our governmental agencies in Sweden, because you actually try to help us do the right thing. It's easier to do the right tax in Sweden than it is to do the wrong tax, and that's not the same in every country. So I think we sometimes should be proud about how it is here. Any questions for Susanne? No. I think we will just summon this up a little bit. So if I can ask all the speakers just to come up here, is that how you wanted it?